Most budgeting advice feels like a lecture you forget by noon. The 50-30-20 rule is not a sermon, it's a simple map that keeps money moving in the same direction as your life. For Americans, money often feels like a tug of war between bills and dreams. This rule gives you a clear, doable rhythm you can actually follow. Here's what it means in plain terms. Half your take-home pay goes to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings or paying down debt. Needs are the basics you must cover to keep a roof over your head and a car on the road. That includes housing, utilities, groceries, healthcare, transportation, insurance, and the minimum debt payments. Wants are the things that improve life but aren't essential. They include dining out, entertainment, new clothes, vacations, and gadgets that aren't strictly necessary. The 20% for savings and debt is where wealth can grow. If you have high-interest debt, you should lean toward paying that down while still preserving some savings. To start, figure out your take-home pay after taxes and deductions. Then review last month's spending to see where each category should fit. You'll want to account for irregular costs like car repairs or annual insurance premiums by spreading them across several months. That keeps your budget from exploding when the bill comes. Let's walk through a concrete example with a $4,000 monthly take-home pay. Needs could break down as rent or mortgage around $1,400, utilities about $180, groceries $420, transportation $260, and insurance or healthcare about $240, plus minimum debt payments. That still leaves room for the rest of the rule. Wants might look like $1,100 for dining out, streaming services, hobbies, and small trips. The remaining $800 go towards savings or paying down debt, depending on your situation. If you're listening from a different place, picture a higher or lower take-home pay and still aim for the same rhythm. The numbers shift, but the discipline stays the same. You decide what counts as needs, what counts as wants, and where to push money towards security and growth. Now imagine a higher income scenario, around $6,500 in take-home pay. Needs might rise to about $3,200 because housing costs climb in some areas. Utilities and groceries can run higher too, maybe $500 for groceries and $300 for utilities. Wants could be $3,000, which covers dining out, travel, hobbies, and nicer gadgets. The remaining $800 goes to savings and debt, with a stronger push toward building wealth or paying off debt faster. In places with really high living costs, the 50-30-20 rule still helps, but you may tilt the percentages. You might see something like 60-25-15 or 55-25-20 to keep needs manageable while still building savings. The key is to keep the math honest and revisit it every few months. If debt is a priority, you can treat the 20% as two lanes, put most of it toward paying down high-interest debt, and still reserve a smaller portion for an emergency fund. The goal isn't to starve savings, but to reduce the burden debt creates so you can invest sooner. The emergency fund is the cornerstone. A practical target is 3 to 6 months of needs, not wants. Once that's in place, you can redirect more money into retirement accounts or investments. Speaking of investing, the 20% should eventually fund your long-term goals. Start with the employer match in a 401k if you have one. Then consider an IRA, and if possible, a health savings account or Roth options. Automation helps here so you're not guessing what to save each month. Automation is a game changer. Set up automatic transfers the day you get paid. One to savings, one to debt payoff, one to retirement investing. If you can, automate the entire 20% and treat it as non-negotiable. Another useful approach is the envelope method, but in a digital form. Create separate bank accounts or labeled sub-accounts for needs, wants, and savings. Move money into each by automatic rules, so you're not tempted to cross the lines. Common mistakes derail good plans. Not tracking expenses is number one. Without regular checks, categories bleed and the numbers stop adding up. Another trap is forgetting irregular costs. Annual insurance, car maintenance, or new tires can wreck a month if you skip them. Irregulars need their own space in the budget, even if it's a little bit every month. People also overcommit to wants. It's easy to chase experiences or gear just because it's within reach, but then you lose the safety net or the ability to invest. The rule works only if you protect the essentials and your future. If you get a raise or a bonus, don't immediately lift every want. Consider increasing the savings or debt payments first, then upgrade wants gradually. The extra money should reinforce security rather than spur a shopping spree. Side income changes everything, especially if you're still building a cash cushion. When you earn more, you can allocate more to savings or to elimination of debt, not necessarily to bigger expenses. The rhythm remains the same: needs first, then wants, then growth. Lifestyle tweaks help the numbers. Simple shifts like cooking at home more, canceling unused subscriptions, or buying in bulk can move the needle without changing your life. These adjustments keep you honest and maintainable. If housing costs rise or medical bills spike, you can adjust without scrapping the rule. A small shift in needs, a small cut in wants, and a consistent push to save can keep you on track. The rule isn't a prison, it's a compass you can recalibrate. The rule isn't perfect in every situation. If you're starting with little or no savings, focus on building that emergency fund before piling into the broader investments. If debt is overwhelming, prioritize a focused debt payoff plan within the 20%. Early wealth-building habits pay off the most when you start soon. Consistency beats bursts of effort, and automation makes consistency easier. The tiny daily choices compound into real financial momentum. A real-world use case helps clarify the glue. A person earning around $60,000 a year in take-home pay might find that the 50-30-20 rule is a strong backbone, but they still need to trim some wants and push more into retirement. Over a year, those small adjustments add up to thousands in savings or debt reduction. If you're listening for the first time, remember this: the rule is a framework, not a cage. It's designed to keep money aligned with what matters most to you while making room for growth. You adapt it to your life, not the other way around. To make this practical, start with today. Write down your net pay and list your essential needs for the month. Then decide what you want to do with the rest, and set up automatic transfers so you don't have to decide again and again. Once you see the pattern, you'll notice a surprising thing. Money stops feeling tense because there's a predictable flow from income to goals. You begin to spend with intention, not impulse, and that alone changes how you experience money. If you want a straightforward path that avoids drama, the 50-30-20 rule gives you one. It's simple, repeatable, and adaptable to many different incomes and situations. It's not magic, but it is reliable when you show up and stay consistent. So what happens if you try this for a month and it still feels off? Revisit the numbers. Talk through every category with a trusted friend or family member. Sometimes a fresh pair of eyes helps you spot where you're slipping. If you found this approach useful, share it with someone who might benefit. Let me know in the comments what your first tweak will be, or which part of the rule you find the trickiest. Your perspective can help others start stronger too. If you're ready to keep going, hit the like button to signal you're analyzing your money in real time. Subscribe so you don't miss future breakdowns of practical money moves that actually fit real lives, and drop a comment with your budget question or a win you've already earned. In the end, budgeting isn't about perfection. It's about creating a steady cadence that keeps you moving toward what you care about most. The 50-30-20 rule is a simple tool to make that cadence possible every single month. If you're curious to see how this would look with your numbers, try drafting a quick one-page plan tonight. Put your take-home pay at the top, list your needs, wants, and the 20% you'll put toward growth. Then schedule the automatic transfers and watch the pattern form. Remember, you're not chasing a fixed destination. You're building a flexible habit that grows with your life. The rule adapts to you, and that is its real strength. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and comment with your own budget tweaks or questions. Your input helps others understand how to apply the 50-30-20 rule in real settings. See you in the next video.